from the draft. Mel Kiper, latest mock draft is out. Some notes on this is it's just coming out right now. ESPN.com has it. He has Cam Ward, number 1 to Tennessee. I don't think we're surprised there. Travis Hunter, 2 to Cleveland. Before we go any further, are we now at a point where we are putting that in pen? Travis Hunter, Cleveland 2? Or still pencil?
I'm still going to go pencil because I think that there is a scenario in which they go Abdul Carter, but I think it will be one of those two players. I'm getting to the point where I'm ready to put it in pen that Cleveland does not go quarterback in this draft.
I don't think they're going to go quarterback with the number 2 overall pick. I do think they're going to go quarterback early in this draft, and it could be quarterback in the first round, them trading back up from 33 into the latter part of the first round in order to grab a guy. Here's the thing with Cleveland, and I realize that sometimes the best approach to roster building is fortifying a strength. The defense is the identity of the team, led by Myles Garrett. Adding Abdul Carter would make it even more dominant. But they need guys that can score touchdowns. They don't have enough touchdown scorers right now. I mean, Cleveland is 31st in touchdowns scored last year. They're 28th in passing touchdowns. They've got to find guys that could get the ball in the end zone. Jerry Jeudy is just not enough. And so to me, being able to add another receiver alongside him like Travis Hunter and then sprinkle in David Njoku, you feel good about your receiving core for whoever's going to be playing quarterback for you this upcoming season.
Mel has the Giants, literally just released moments ago, ESPN.com, mock draft 4.0 for Mel Kiper Jr. Giants with Abdul Carter. Outside linebacker, defensive end out of Penn State. They would pass on a quarterback, in this case, Shedeur. CC, as a former Giant, you have been suggesting no quarterback at 3. Please, no quarterback at 3 this entire time. This makes you happy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You like this? Okay.
Abdul Carter is a guy that I think can wear a gold jacket when his career is all said and done. He's that kind of talent. He was a wrecking ball for Penn State this past year, and you saw it in the college football playoff. So being able to add a dude like that, playing alongside Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, when he's healthy, you feel good about that pass rush going hunting opposing quarterbacks. So, yeah, Abdul Carter, best available player, have no problem with the Giants taking that approach.
So the biggest thing is, where does Shedeur Sanders land? And Mel has him landing at number 9 to New Orleans right now. There seems to be a lot of buzz picking up around that. 8.5 has been the over-under number on ESPN Bet as to where he ends up. Shedeur Sanders, number 9. Do we like that?
Yeah, because if it's not to the Browns or the Giants, there's no other real clear landing spot for Shedeur in the top 10. And this feels like it could be a great fit, not only from a football standpoint. It's an area of need for them. With Kellen Moore coming in, you have confidence that he might be able to dial things up to Shedeur's strengths. And from a culture standpoint, it feels like Shedeur would fit really well in New Orleans. It's a place that loves football. It's a vibrant city. It feels like they would really embrace all the star power that he and his family were going to bring to the Saints. I love that fit with Shedeur at New Orleans at number 9, because if it's not there, I don't know where else he could go in the top 10.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Smalls, because late last week, I threw out the scenario to you guys about what if he does drop, he being Shedeur Sanders, and what if there are certain teams faced with the decision of drafting him that are unexpected teams that could potentially draft him. Adam Schefter addressed these kinds of hypotheticals on his podcast, the Adam Schefter podcast, as to hypotheticals for Shedeur Sanders.
Miami has so much money tied up in Tua that after this year, there's a way out of that contract with the health questions. Like, maybe. I don't think it's likely, but I'm not completely dismissing it. I don't think Arizona's likely, but there have been questions about Kyler Murray. There have been questions about the owner not being a huge fan. What if all Shedeur Sanders go? Because it doesn't look like 2 or 3. So is he going 9 to New Orleans, 21 to Pittsburgh? Is he going to the Browns or Giants who trade back up? Or is there a wild card scenario out there that we don't see, that we haven't talked about, that we're missing the way that many people missed last year? Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, so as we play this out here, and obviously we're going on the road, our draft show will be live from Green Bay for the draft beginning April 24th, brought to you by ZipRecruiter, GNC, and American Family Insurance. We're very excited about that. If we lay this out, conventional thought process for Shedeur would be not at 2 and 3, but teams. Giants, or Browns, Giants, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Rams. Those are the 5 kind of conventional thoughts.
Some people still have the Raiders in that mix, even with the Geno extension, but just saying.
Okay, do you want to put them on the conventional or unconventional list?
Well, based on what we saw last year with Atlanta, could you say it's conventional? Because we've seen the blueprint.
Okay, so put them on the conventional list, right? So you have 6 teams on that. Conventional thinking would tell you he'd end up in one of those 6. By the end of the first round, do you think that Shedeur Sanders will end up with a conventional team or an unconventional team?
I think it'll be a conventional team. I honestly like the New Orleans Saints being able to draft him. I don't know that they're going to be able to get him if they stay at 9. I think there's going to be teams that are scrambling to try to get up into the top 10 to draft Shedeur Sanders. Remember, even though Mel Kiper has got Cam Ward going number 1 overall to Tennessee, Shedeur Sanders is the top quarterback on his big board.
And that's never changed.
Think about it, and it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
So if Mel Kiper feels that way, Mel Kiper, who watches more tape on draft prospects than anybody at this company, and we're the worldwide leader in sports, if Mel Kiper's opinion is that high on Shedeur Sanders, I find it hard to believe that there isn't one other team out of the 32 in the NFL that doesn't feel the same way. I find it really that a quarterback-starved team is not going to look at Shedeur Sanders as the guy that's going to change the culture of that franchise. So, yeah, I think Shedeur Sanders in New Orleans would be a great fit. Got a new head coach, being able to pair him with his hand-picked quarterback. They got a lot of elements you're looking for in New Orleans. An offensive line, when healthy, that's a brick wall. You got Chris Olave. You got Rashid Shaheed. They signed Brandon Cooks, brought him back in free agency. And they got Alvin Kamara in the backfield. You feel good about the elements around the young quarterback on that offensive side of the ball. Defense in New Orleans needs work, but you're really only concerned with the development of the future of your franchise. That's a great landing spot for Shedeur Sanders, both from an X's and O's standpoint, but then also from a culture fit with the environment, with the franchise, with that city. I just don't know that New Orleans is going to be able to stay there at 9 and get him, because there are going to be other teams that aren't necessarily in the market for a quarterback that are looking at this opportunity to trade back. Remember, outside of the top 3 or 4 picks, based on all of the analysis that we've gotten from our draft experts, Field Yates and Mel Kiper, it's a hodgepodge of players from, 5 through 35. So I could see a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, like the Las Vegas Raiders, like the New York Jets, like the Carolina Panthers, being willing to trade out of their spots, trade back for a team that wants to come up and get a quarterback.
That's an interesting thought, because you're right. We're thinking about where he could land and possible fits. We're not thinking about other teams that we may not be considering being intoxicated by everything that Shedeur Sanders brings to the table. This is a guy who's gone places where it's been abysmal from a football standpoint and turned it around and made them relevant and exciting again. He's a guy that, even though he was under pressure all the time, is incredibly accurate. I think, what do you always say, 74% of his passes he completed? He's really accurate. He's not afraid of the spotlight. He's not afraid of a challenge. All those things will probably be really enticing to an organization to bring him in. I just don't know who the surprise team would be, I guess. If it's not a conventional team that's on our list that we know it's an area of need, who's the team that's going to be out there that's going to be the mystery team to come up and grab him? I can't find it.
Well, who should it be in your opinion?
We've talked about Miami a lot. I don't know if that's a mystery team